I decided I was going to fire myself. So I did.
Shut it down?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be stressed all the time. So I'm going to look for opportunities to be stressed all the time so that in my brain, I'm right.
It's a very passive existence. I didn't see, I didn't experience, I didn't feel.
None of this is urgent. It's not even that important.
I just kept burning out. Repeatedly, every 6 months.
My therapist tells me I have to care less. You need to care 30 to 40% less at any given time.
So I was trying to solve the unsolvable problem. Nope, can't do it.
What the heck am I doing with my life?
Odette, right now, if you could do anything else, what would you do?
How much do you think a crossing guard makes? Is that for which one should I look into? Hey everyone, welcome back to Non-Billable Hours. My name is Odette, and I'm so excited to introduce you all to Patrick Patino. He's the creator and host of The Newfangled Lawyer, a podcast that's flipping the script on what we think lawyers are supposed to look like, sound like, and even dress like. Patrick has a deep love for community and for fostering thoughtful, meaningful conversations, and that passion has led him to create some truly incredible community-forward events that bring people together in real, human ways. I can't wait for you to hear his perspective on stepping outside of your comfort zone, embracing the unknown, and finally living your life with purpose, intention, and a little bit of adventure. Because honestly, why not? Let's go. Do like a cut. You have your own podcast. You know what you're doing. So Patrick, I would love to know, why did you want to become a lawyer? And did your law school experience solidify that goal, or did it make you be like, what the heck am I doing with my life?
Oh my gosh. So this requires me to do like my Spider-Man origin story.
Yes.
So I graduated undergrad in 2009 during the financial crisis with a degree in rhetoric with a concentration in poetry. So imagine my job prospects were pretty pearly. I could essentially choose one of two paths, the practical path or the impractical path. The impractical path would have led me to living in a cabin in the woods, chopping wood, writing, and being content with that simplicity. The practical path goes, well, like, don't you want stuff? Don't you want a house and a wife and kids and a car? And so I was like, well, what is someone who loves words, enjoys helping people, and I'm really good at distilling complex problems into simple solutions? What do you do?
Yeah.
And so I was just like checking out my options. And this is really what it came down to is one day I was at the pool with my mom. She was talking about someone who's building a new house. I was like, well, what does he do? Mom was like, he's a lawyer. I'm like, well, I guess I'll be a lawyer. And so I have never taken a conventional path. No one growing up was like, you're good at arguing. You like conflict. Actually, the opposite. I'm horrible at arguing. I hate conflicts. I'm very introverted. And this can kind of throw people off. Really, it just came down to like, what was the most practical thing I could do with the skills I thought I had? I had no idea. I had no idea what it meant to be a lawyer. It's not like I watched like crime shows other than like Matlock.
Right.
To like,
just answer yes or no, Bob.
So I had no idea. Law school, honestly, I didn't do the traditional things there either. I just wanted to be able to help people. Law school, I didn't think was that bad of an experience.
Nice.
I didn't think it was that stressful. I didn't think there was a lot of competition. Yeah, did it solidify for me why to be a lawyer? I don't know. Maybe.
Or like it made me be a lawyer. No?
I'm 11 years into this and I still don't have the answer to that.
Me too. I'm the same. You know what? I don't know if we ever get the answers. It's interesting that you say that you didn't feel that law school was really competitive for you. Do you think that was the law school you chose to go to? Or do you think that was just your approach? Like you didn't see your classmates as competition, so they weren't?
I think it's a both and. The first law school I went to was at the time a for-profit law school. The whole idea is they admit as many people as possible with the idea that there's a high rate of attrition. There, I just did my thing. I'm not a very externally motivated individual. And then even where I ended up graduating from, I think it was fairly collegial.
Nice.
Is probably the best way to talk about it. Once again, I was like beautifully naive. Yeah. I had no idea like that there's a game to be played. And so I didn't participate. I didn't know there was a game. So I didn't participate. And that was probably one of the most beautiful things ever, is just kind of being unaware. And that's kind of how I do everything, is kind of I'm not going to go in with a lot of expectation. I'm just going to go for the sake of following where the journey goes.
I love that, because I know a lot of people who become lawyers or choose to go to law school, myself included, do it because we have some preconceived notion about what being a lawyer should look like, or what your lifestyle should look like, or how you should act when you become a law student or a lawyer. I had those notions in my head, but I was also super naive. Like, I didn't know how to play any of the games, including like the OCI game where you're just supposed to tell every firm they're your top pick. I didn't know that. So I was way too honest with firms. And there was like a seven sister firm that told me that they wanted me, like a Bay Street firm that told me they wanted me. And they're like, all you have to do is tell us where you're number one. And I'm like, but you're not. And they're like, all you have to do is tell us where you're number one. I'm like, I can't do that.
Can't.
No problem.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
I think he's talking to you.
And they like screamed at me in the boardroom, you're wasting our time. And I ran out of there crying. And I was like, I'm never going to be a lawyer. And then I was telling a friend who was a year older than me, he's like, I just told everyone they were my number one. What's wrong with you? They're not texting each other. And even if they are, who cares? They're all playing the game.
Right? There's a certain level of integrity. Like how I'm built, like I'm not here to portray anything other than what I mean, what I plan to be. I don't want to put on an airs. I have never been that way. I just decided to opt out. Even practicing law, a couple years ago, I just radically opted out of the entire machine.
That's what I wanted to ask you about next was, so your website and your podcast, you're the newfangled lawyer. And in reading your website and hearing you talk about yourself, you know, you're someone who is self-described as like, you don't like the traditional lawyer speak, the legalese. So tell me about the moment, or I guess collection of moments, where you decided you don't have to be the uptight lawyer, and how did you start embracing that shift?
So I moved here to Minnesota like 4.5 years ago during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you have to do when you move is get a new driver's license. So my driver's license, I was like, who's that person? I was like, that person looks just highly dissatisfied and disgruntled. I don't like that person. That's me. So I moved here, I got a new driver's license photo, and I was like, who have I become? That's not what I intended to become. I was burnt out. I was just dissatisfied. I wasn't spending my time really doing anything other than being in like default mode. It was a very passive existence. I was blind. Right. I didn't see, I didn't experience, I didn't feel, and it was horrible. And so I was just like, I'm going to be radical. Where do I start? So I like ditched using a smartphone, stopped drinking. I love writing. I love reading. I love learning. And so I just like turned back on the part of myself that I like rediscovered it. Like, what did I enjoy doing as a child? I like creating. I've always been a creative person. I just started to create. And from that, I took a wheel pottery class. I started writing again. I just like came back to life. An incident to that was kind of like, what is my natural way of being? How do I like interacting with myself in my own life? This is hard work. It's not like I showed up one day and I was like, wow, this feels great. Yeah. Like when you turn on the lights, you see everything. Yeah. It's not like it's all just great. And so it was a very transformative process. It was difficult. It was challenging, rewarding. And so, that led me to kind of this way of being. It's not a destination. I just took that and was like, you know what? I really like creating. I'm going to create a podcast, ran with it. I didn't contemplate it too much. So I just was like, what else can I create? How else can I experience living, which incidentally includes my professional identity in a way that just feels right or me, like alignment with me, and not give a shit about what anyone else says.
Did that shift come with a change in like practice area, or were you still doing the same work, but you just chose to approach it differently?
Oh gosh, this has been an iterative process. It's not linear. So like how I go about this, right, is not like I have a 5-year vision and I'm going to walk that back and make that into digestible steps. This is taking an abstract concept or a way of being and applying it to a profession that doesn't like feeling and being. It likes doing. It likes achieving.
In a predictable way.
Right? Yeah, you do this, then this happens, and this happens. So initially, no, I kept doing what I was doing until I burnt out again, or I just kept burning out. Repeatedly, every 6 months, I would just burn out. I would end up so exhausted that finally I hired a burnout coach. Shout out Rhea. Rhea's awesome. And just had a tough conversation of you can't keep pushing out your own life.
Right.
And at a certain point, you have to just draw a line and say like, if this still doesn't feel right and you reach this thing, it's okay to be done. And so I had pivoted back to being solo, doing bankruptcy work as myself. I had a wall of love. One of my colors was pink. I was going to wear hoodies and backwards hats, and it really worked, except it didn't work for me. It was confusing because I was like, oh gosh, I'm showing up as myself. I even did like this leadership class. We did this assessment, and I scored very low on interpersonal relationships. And I was like, this is weird. I don't feel this way. I don't think anyone would say this about me.
Right.
And the person was like, well, what kind of relationships are you in most days? It might be satisfying to the other person, so my clients, but wholly unsatisfactory to you. And I was like, oh no, right? I created another pressurized room. I just painted the walls pink this time. And yet it was the same experience. It was the same feeling. And so last December, I decided I was going to fire myself. So I did.
Wow. Shut it down? Shut it down.
Yeah, I decided it was time to be done. And this is something that I had tethered my identity to professionally for a long time. Yeah, I'm done. So let me explore. What does this mean to be done? What does this mean to transition to kind of the next opportunity? I'll just open myself up to what the opportunities would come. I didn't have a plan. I had an idea. I had some like non-negotiables that I wrote down. Right? I've done a lot of work and a lot of introspection over my whole career, actually, long time. Yeah. And so it's just, relying upon that or tapping into that and seeing what comes next, and not just saying yes to everything and trusting your intuition. And when something doesn't feel right, be like, well, this might be the right opportunity at the wrong time. You just let it go. You have non-attachment. Right. I just don't get attached to very much anymore. Outcomes or expectations or the way a client reacts, because I can't control any of those things. So yeah, it's a very like Zen way of practicing law.
I was literally just going to say it sounds quite Zen. So you were working for someone else, then you decided something needs to change. You started working for yourself. That didn't cure the burnout. So when you found out that, okay, this doesn't feel right, I'm going to fire myself. Was it from a place of, I never want to practice law again? Or was it from a place of, this isn't it, I'm just going to stop here and see what comes of it?
Part of it for me was, I had to explore at that time whether or not it was practice of law. Was it practicing law in and of itself? Was it the type of law I was practicing? Was it the environment I was in? No fault of anyone else I've ever partnered with.
No.
On anything. It just didn't work. I can show up as myself as much as I want, wholeheartedly as I want, brazenly as myself, but inherently the practice of law just burns and churns people.
Yep.
Like you can't have well-being and practice law. Like those actually are diametrically opposed. Yeah. And this is why we haven't been able to figure out this equation, even though we're smart people.
You said so unabashedly what I think a lot of people dance around. Practicing law and having like a full well-being.
Is that even a possibility.
Right.
I always come back to this question. Is it possible? Is it practicable? Is it achievable? Can you create process and structures and environments that allow for well-being? Some days I'm maybe a little jaded or honest or what have you, but I think so many of the systems and expectations and rules of how things get accomplished are not for the lawyer.
Oh God, no.
And that
Definitely not.
really started to piss me off. I was really angry.
Oh,
And I still get upset. I get upset when it's like we're going to do another study on well-being to identify how unwell we are, as opposed to committing any kind of resources to just being like, hey, maybe it's in the rules. Maybe it's in the processes. Maybe it's in
how people treat each other.
Yeah, just like the expectation. So I just keep, and it takes a lot of work. I just keep showing up as myself. I don't know. And trying to be just a normal dude saying, hey, I want to help people and be out here trying to change the system, because otherwise we're going to end up 5 years from now in the same spot. And that to me is just frustrating.
When you were trying to figure out, can I, take care of myself and be a practicing attorney in whatever way you were trying to do it, what were some things that you were trying to do for yourself to have that balance that doesn't exist, but to try and get closer to that balance of being a happy Patrick and a good lawyer?
Oh my gosh. What I've discovered is very radical with boundaries. I never work on the weekend.
Okay. Yep.
I do not respond to client email after 5:00.
Nice.
There's no emergency.
No.
I've just created boundaries.
And those don't sound like crazy ones to me. Like working on a weekend or working after 5 p.m., like to me, that makes complete sense. But isn't it wild that in the practice of law, those can be seen in some circles as like, whoa, what do you mean you don't respond to a client after 5?
What do you mean?
I've gotten every kind of response.
Really?
Oh my gosh. People are like, what happens if you don't respond at 11 p.m.? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'll just respond the next day at 9:30 a.m.
I'm in bed. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm sleeping. I don't know. I'm reading a book. I'm doing pottery. I'm playing with my kids. I'm walking my dog. I'm hanging out with my wife. And what I have found is most clients honestly appreciate that, because then it's reciprocated, right? Yeah. I'm also not demanding of them to do anything that's unreasonable or urgent for the sake of being urgent. If you don't have a general guideline or set of values or boundaries, then the exception becomes the rule. So.
And there's always those people that are going to test those boundaries and push those buttons and, try and find a way to get you to respond to them in some sort of... My favorite is the email followed by a Teams message followed by a Teams call to make sure I got the email.
Did you see the memo about this? Yeah.
And I'm like, none of this is urgent.
No, email to me, I think of email in my mind as electronic mail.
It's still mail.
Right. We've made it where just because it's easy to do or easy to send, it should be easy for you to respond. The law in particular requires deliberation. Some amount of like, gosh, I just need to sit on this for a month. So
or some emotional regulation before I respond.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me?
Yeah, right. Like I need to take some deep breaths. I need to go for a walk outside. I need to just go stand in the grass barefoot. Your best work is not necessarily immediate. We've put immediacy on a pedestal, almost above all their values. Where I value what do we get when we take our time? And I might be accused of taking my time too much. I don't know. I might be seen that way, but.
But to what detriment? What bad comes from that? Someone has to wait a little longer to hear from you?
Yeah, or I tell them one of my favorite things to do is I've started telling clients this is a 30-day problem. You need 30 days. You're asking me about something where there's a lot that's going to happen.
Right.
I could go through every iteration of what I think is plausible to happen But why don't we just wait 30 days? There's no detriment of waiting. Then we can actually see what happens, and then we can act. I think people have just become so accustomed to someone just telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you're going to do. And quickly. Even if it's not well thought out, it's very like rote.
Was that pressure of like the feeling of immediacy in the legal industry? Was that one of the things that kind of led to the repeated burnout? Because it's like you come back from it, but it's still the same. So was that like, no, this hasn't healed, so how can I heal?
I would tell my wife, don't make me go back there. It felt like right. I think a lot of people feel this way. You know, something's not right. You know that living under the constant strain of making the right decision, telling people the right thing to do, empowering people, and particularly with the type of law I was practicing, I was doing bankruptcy law. This is like people's livelihood, their houses, their cars, their paychecks, and so fundamentally, right, certain practice areas kind of attract to this, or it's perpetuated. And so I think part of it too is just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's like, anxiety. A lot of your anxieties you self-fulfill because then you're like, look, it was true.
Oh yeah. Well, it also informs what you look for, what your brain looks for, how your body reacts to things, and how you react. So it's like this constant, law is a stressful profession. So then we treat it as such. So you get stressed out when maybe you wouldn't otherwise, or your body just reacts as like, I'm supposed to be stressed all the time. So I'm going to look for opportunities to be stressed all the time so that in my brain, I'm right.
I'm right, you're wrong.
Yep. And in the law, we're achievers.
Oh yeah. We're
all achievers. Even I never thought myself as an achiever. Spoiler alert, almost everyone that finds themselves practicing law is an achiever. We want to do well. We want to do great. We are willing to sacrifice so much, even ourselves, to the point where, right, we're told it needs to be client-centered. It needs to be, we're serving the court. Very rarely do we ever stop and be like, well, are we serving ourselves? Like, what are we gaining from this? So now I reflect. I'm like, well, what am I getting out of this?
Right.
Why do I almost seem to care more about this than the very person I'm helping? So I've started telling people, I just have real conversations with people now that I've had now a string of clients over the past several years that I just say, like, this is your life. This is not my life. I'm not going to drag you along here. You can either do it or not.
My lawyer say it's urgent, I'ma call him in an hour.
And you want to know the surprising thing? Not one person has gotten mad at me. Right? Just being honest.
Yeah.
People like that raw, that just like honest approach of being like, hey, I know this is tough. I'm here to help you, but if you don't want to do this, like, that's cool.
I'm not going to shake your hand and throw you kicking and screaming to do something you approached me for.
Yeah, we're all grown-ups here.
Exactly. My therapist tells me I have to care less. She's like, you need to care 30 to 40% less at any given time.
People can get a cheeseburger anywhere, okay? They come to Tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude.
Yeah, what happens if you do the equivalent of your 75%?
Yeah.
This is my new thing. What if I do my 75%? Will anyone notice?
And the payoff, right? The payoff of you doing 75% is maybe you get to live a more fulfilled life, and your job, there's probably not much of a change there. But if you give 100% of everything to your job, the payoff is probably a little bit more maybe, and the detriment to your own personal life, probably a whole lot.
That's how I approach things now. Of like, is this the kind of person I want to work with? Yeah. Like, is this it? Yeah. Is this the kind of thing I want to be doing day in and day out? Honestly, one of the drivers for me to pivot to doing what I'm doing now, and I joined a law firm, ALH, is because I wanted to build community around my practice.
So what does that look like for you?
This is a great example. I finally, for the first time, was like, I'm going to get a booth at one of those like community events. I had a blast. I was like, I'm just going to go introduce myself to some of the businesses along kind of the street. It was just amazing being able to pivot from what I was doing before. It was like, no one wants to know a bankruptcy attorney.
I declare bankruptcy!
No one's like,
Right.
you know, my brother's sister needs a bankruptcy. Let me send them to you. Where this, people are like, oh yeah, I run a business. I have business legal needs. And I got a client, so far one client out of doing that. And then I was at a holiday event with my family and they were there. And so it's so great to be like able to approach a client, introduce them to my family, and like have that community and be able to create kind of that experience for me, right? That's very selfish. That's a very selfish thing.
But like you're living your life. Like why shouldn't you get some satisfaction out of your job in that way?
Yeah, and have it be where you're not seen as kind of like a pariah because of the type of law you practice.
Yeah.
Is really, really fun and refreshing. And so this is one of the learnings I had. Is one of the reasons I was dissatisfied and kept burning out is I was trying to solve the unsolvable problem. How do you build community around a bankruptcy practice? Nope, can't do it. Can't be like, hey, all my clients, let's get together. I'm going to get all my clients together. We're going to do a barbecue.
Yeah.
Like probably some people would come. And this is not to disparage like people that need to go through it because it's a necessary thing for a lot of people. Yeah. It's a tool. But I wanted to be able to do those kinds of things. And like I do funky events. Like I do a tattoo event for lawyers.
I saw that on LinkedIn the other day. That is so sick.
So it's so fun. You want to do one in where you're at? I'll show you how to do it. People are like, I wish I could do it. I'm like, well, you can.
What made you think of that specifically, like a tattoo event for lawyers?
Attorneys are known for looking and presenting themselves a certain way. And I'm about like, how do you just take that and put it on its head and demonstrate that to your clients, to other people in the legal profession, like you can show up as yourself. And so I was like, what better way to do it than tattoos? Because that's kind of like taboo and has historically been seen as like a very unprofessional thing to display. So really it started with one of my buddies who's got arm sleeve tattoos all of his body. He's a lawyer. I was like, hey man, what about if I did this tattoo event? And he was like, yeah, let me hook you up with the tattoo artist. I'll do it. I just like created the opportunity for community around this thing that people care a lot about. And it's been really fun. So I've done 2 of them. We've had now, I think 15 different attorneys participate. One guy flew in from California to Minnesota to do it twice.
That's awesome.
He'll come again. We're going to do another one. I'm just trying to redefine what community is, what business development is, what relationship building is. Yeah. It's not passing out your business card in a giant room full of people.
That's the thing. And I think that's what, because I know you have a podcast too, but one of the reasons I wanted to start this one is because I was having a really hard time connecting with lawyers on any sort of like real level because I was interacting with them at work or in court.
What's Spanish for we'll see you in court?
Where it's like, you're not going to sit down and be like, tell me about your life. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about your hopes and dreams. Or it was at these networking events, which, as you say, you're at a gala, you're in a basement of a restaurant, you're somewhere, and everyone's just seeing who's who, going up to people, reading their name tags. You're in a noisy room. I have small talk with 30 people and I leave feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. And I'm like, this isn't the depth of connection I want. And I was feeling so disconnected from the world of law.
It's because the many professional settings are not designed for introverts. No. One of my buddies, Heidi Brown, she's a lawyer. She's written a lot about this, is that, being an introvert is a superpower. It's not that we're shy. We just we like depth of conversation, and we can get there very quickly. My husband makes fun of me all the time because I'll meet someone he's known for, not make fun, but I'll meet someone he's known for years and I'll come away 10 minutes later knowing so much about them. He's like, how did you get there? I'm like, I just go.
I just go deep. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to go there.
You just ask the question that you genuinely care about.
yes.
Like, I don't care what the weather is. I give a shit of what the weather is. I can look outside. It's cold.
Looks a little cold, but I wish I had a reporter freezing on my TV in front of me. It's your lucky day.
I mean, it's Minnesota. It's
we're in
snowing.
Toronto.
Oh, it's snowing. You know, in Canada. Okay. Like, we could always talk about that. I really have always appreciated that conversation in the art of conversation in storytelling and personal narrative. And this is why I started the Newfangled Lawyers. I cared about highlighting that personal narrative and the power of storytelling. And this has led me to some, really just eye-opening conversations. What else can we do if we just open ourselves up to the opportunity to deeply connect in a time and space where people are just connected? How do I create these opportunities? So, and things I enjoy doing, right? So it's not, it's like I enjoy getting tattoos. I enjoy small, intimate settings. I enjoy doing pottery. So now we're going to be doing a pottery class. Me and a group of people.
So much fun. I took an 8-week course last year, and I'm not great at it, but doing something with your hands and creating something is. What's your favorite thing to make?
I just made a set where they all look the same, but it's like vases, some bowls, and then I made a cup, which I'd never made before for my coffee. Every day I make pour over coffee for my wife in bed.
Oh, that's so
And
sweet.
so it was like I needed kind of a ritual cup. So I made a cup.
Nice.
So I mean, that's why I do it. I want to make stuff in this kind of digital space. I really want to make physical stuff, tangible stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to last. So, I mean, that's why I like pottery. It's like can last thousands of years.
Like I made, again, I'm not good at it, but I made some smaller bowls and like platters and stuff. So, and one of my favorite things when we have company over, when I'm hanging out with my friends, are like charcuterie boards, right? With like a bunch of different jams and dips and stuff. Now I've got all these little bowls that I made and I painted and I designed that we can like host people with. And there's just something about that. There's something about taking something you made off the shelf and sharing an experience with someone else using it. That's like better than going to friggin' like HomeSense and being like, oh, here's a $5 bowl, which I also like, but it doesn't have the same meaning.
It doesn't have the story.
Wow, I bet it has a great story behind it too. Did they tell you anything? Like, you know, where it's from or? Oh, yes, that I know. This is from White Plains.
It just invites conversation.
Yeah.
And of my family, it's like I'm the only boy. I have 3 sisters. I was the quietest. I was the quiet one growing up.
Yeah.
And now it's like for a living, like I talk to people all day, every day. And I'm like, how do I get to talk to people more?
Yeah.
Like, how do I facilitate that? Someone just asked me, one of my friends was like, well, what's the ROI on that? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the ROI. I'm doing it because it like fills my soul.
It's not a stock option. What do you mean?
Yeah. Everything has a KPI. Everything has a data point.
I know.
Right? And it needs to have some deliverable, but you never know. Or the value could be different. It could just be like satisfaction.
Yeah. Living life.
Purely
with someone.
Exactly. Like
having a nice conversation.
We've gotten away from doing something just for the sake of doing something.
Yep. And enjoying your time while you're doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't all have to be productive.
And when you talk to lawyers on your podcast, do you find that, I know you said that like we're performers and we're achievers. Do you find that there's some common threads amongst the people that you talk to in terms of maybe things that we don't really talk about, but we should?
Well, we don't like being vulnerable as a profession.
No, it's weakness.
We're paranoid that someone's going to use that against us at some point in time. Mm-hmm. That's just our ego talking. I don't know. I think the conversations that I've had really comes down to one of the themes, like pervasive theme, is there's no way to do this. As much as we try to say there's like this cohesive way of practicing law and what you can do, Like, there is absolutely not. The other kind of pervasive string is, as much as a lot of lawyers, are pre-law and they were destined to be lawyers. Many people that are lawyers, honestly, if you were to ask them, if you could do anything else, like Odette right now, if you could do anything else, what would you do?
It changes by the week, honestly.
So? Yeah, but what about today? If today you could do anything.
I love doing this. I love having these conversations with people and sharing them. Like I keep saying, I'm like, if I could do like podcasting or some sort of like this as a full-time job, I would love that. Some days Andrew and I are walking down the street and I look at him and I'm like, how much do you think a crossing guard makes?
I'm like, oh, look at the guy mowing the lawn on the side of the highway.
The barista.
Look how peaceful that is. Probably doesn't just get to be there, listen to their music. Oh, it has not a care.
Yep.
Everyone has cares, but I hear you. I mean,
what about you?
Oh,
you could do anything.
If I do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would own like a community creative space.
Nice.
Where we teach classes on like writing and making things like pottery. I would do it tomorrow. I'd actually do it by this afternoon. I've thought about it so much. I've created the whole thing that if it ever needed to be actioned, like when we finally win the Powerball, like I'll be ready. Like it will be deployed that day.
Easy.
The money won't even have come in. I'll have all the socials ready to go. Like I'll be ready to rock. This is most people.
Yeah.
Practicing law. Most lawyers didn't necessarily set out to be like, I'm going to be a lawyer. It was kind of just like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And it was beaten to our heads, if you were born between like 1983 and 1993, that the only things you could do is like lawyer, doctor, accountant, and financial advisor. If you were an artist or a writer or musician or any of those other things, like somehow you were not going to be able to have any kind of a living.
Yep.
And so many of us didn't have the opportunity that the prior generation did. The prior generation, like our parents, were just like, oh, I'm going to be like a forest ranger for a couple years. That was my dad. He was a forest ranger in Idaho.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like, right? And that was just like a thing. Or other people are just like, I was like a hippie and I worked as like a boat hand on a boat in the Gulf of Mexico for a while. And then, I worked at a car dealership fixing cars for a while. And now like I own a bunch of KFC franchises and I'm worth $10 million. Then it came to us and they're like, no, you don't get to be the guy that works on the boat who then just wanders around for a while. You got to go straight to owning $10 million worth of KFC franchises.
That's the thing. You got to go to professional school. You got to get your undergrad because without an undergrad, you're never going to get a job. And then the undergrad's not good enough. So you also have to go to professional school.
That's right.
And then right out of there, you got to put on a suit and tie.
Get a job.
That's it. That's the only way you're going to be successful.
And and it's like, so I didn't luckily go straight through. I delivered furniture. I was a bouncer at a bar. Like nice. I got to do some things, but like given my default setting, honestly, I probably could have wandered for at least another 5 or 7 years.
Right.
Like my default setting would have been like, I would have ended up, God knows, Japan, who knows?
Yeah.
But like we almost weren't provided that opportunity. And so now what's happening is many of us are hitting like 35, 36, 37 and going like, well, gosh, what if this isn't, I'm a lawyer. Gosh, I've done everything I was supposed to do.
Yep.
I got good grades. I have a good job. I have a house. I've got a nice car. But man, something's missing. Yeah. So then we start doing things like we're like, oh, I'm going to take a pottery class or I'm going to start painting. Now we're being told, my wife just told me, it was like, now we're being told like it went from we were buying too many avocados to like now somehow we're like resource hoarding or something. So I just feel like in our age group, how people ended up being lawyers, it wasn't even like a first choice. It wasn't a second choice. It was like the most practical choices of the choices, and you didn't want to be a doctor. lawyer.
Look, Janice, Denise, Tiffany, Amber, Thiessen.
Or like you didn't want to look at spreadsheets all day, but instead, this is what we do.
Yep, that's it. And I'm also a child of immigrants, so those really were my only choices. It was doctor, lawyer, architect. In my head, I'm like the most practical way I can make a lot of money growing up is to go to law school.
Every lawyer makes a lot of money. This is another misnomer.
Oh
it's just
God.
like most lawyers don't.
So much debt that the first 10 to 15 years of practicing, you really don't get to see a whole lot of that money too.
My parents weren't like, hey, this is what you're going to do. So, somehow I just gleaned like, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm by default like a wanderer.
Yeah.
Like by default, I'd probably be like an artist who like just wandered around the world. By the setting I was in, right? I went to like a college prep high school. Like it was like you just followed the wave.
Yeah.
You're just like this little pebble.
Yeah.
And it was the delightful little stream I was in. And then you realize you're like, well, how did I get here?
How did I get here?
Did I ever make a choice? Did I just follow the next step? And that each step took me further from who I was, what I wanted to do. Yeah. And so now I'm just at a point where it's like, right, I'm a lawyer, but I don't lead with that. Like now I'm a novice potter. I'm a writer. Like I'd rather write poetry like than have to write a brief.
Yeah, you're a dad, you're a partner, you're a aspiring...
I'm a dog owner.
Yeah, there's so many interesting things about us all that being a lawyer literally is the least interesting thing about me, but it's the thing that gets and I'm like, no, it's not that great.
What kind of law do you practice?
I'm insurance defense litigator.
Oh
yeah.
Got it.
And the thing is, like, I find it interesting. Like the subject matter of it, I actually do find pretty interesting. But it's like that's not a hot area of law. I'm not like,
What? There's not a TV show about insurance defense?
No.
I mean, it's like bankruptcy. There wasn't like, I used to joke. I'd be like, there's no CSI bankruptcy.
No.
Like no one would watch it. Although like some of the most exciting things in the news, it's like this Real Housewife committed bankruptcy fraud.
Right.
Like, ha! I know about that.
There it is.
I don't want to be part of the brotherhood, sisterhood of misery. It's this odd feeling of the very thing that fed me might also be poisoning me. And I think this is what we're dealing with. It's rectifying a profession that is a necessity and people who do it that enjoy aspects of it while hoping and creating structures that the good outweighs the bad. I just try to be out here saying like, you can have joy in practice law. You can have fun in practice law. If it's not working for you, change your environment, change what you're doing. There's no restriction on it. It's like, oh, I was a bankruptcy attorney yesterday. Today I do small business law.
And so many people think they're stuck either in the type of law they do or the way that they do it. And you were saying earlier that, I know technically, like cerebrally, a lot of us know that there's not only one way to practice law. Mm-hmm. But I think for many of us, it appears, or the reality of the legal profession, that like firms, big companies, they reward like conformity and predictability and following practices and procedures that are, committee approved with a template of it. So for lawyers who feel put out, like they're just fed up with that and want to do things differently, but they're afraid.
Oh, you just do it.
Just do it.
Stop thinking so much. Get out of your own head. Just go do it. It's like, here's the thing. It's like ethics. Professional responsibility are actually broader than we give consideration, right? Mm-hmm. You're probably more ethical and more in alignment with your professional responsibility if you're being yourself and are satisfied.
Right.
And it's like, there's no ethics opinion that I'm aware of that says like you can't talk to your clients like normal human beings.
Yeah. And be empathetic.
Yeah, wild. And here in Minnesota, one of the overarching themes of our rules is like be kind.
Yeah.
Like be civil. But even the podcast, I get this question. Like, what do you do? Well, I don't know. I just like one day was like, did it. I didn't have a plan or a jingle or editing software or anything. I just was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the first 10 people. I'll make a logo.
Yeah. Same.
Up until now, I haven't edited a podcast, anything. All 60 episodes of what I've done is completely raw, uncut. Like, what else can you do? This is what the learning for me. What else can you do that in our heads we've created all of these contingencies or if this thens that we could just start doing? I was going to give a presentation about living your values, having your law firm look like you. I was prepared to wear what you would expect someone to wear.
Yep.
Button up, tie, suit coat. And I told my wife, I said, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to show up wearing a Patagonia backwards hat that says slow by nature, wear a hoodie because that's what I'm most comfortable in. And she's like, do it. It's time to bet on yourself. And that has just kind of been iterative. It's like a lab. It's your life. Experiment, explore.
Fail,
take risks.
And what even is failing? What is failing anyways?
I tell my kids all the time, like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like we don't know anything. That's why you got to keep discovering and trying to figure it out. For people that feel stuck or disenfranchised, disillusioned, jaded, have the agency to find a new environment. Make it yourself. If it doesn't exist, the barriers to entry to practicing law now in a different way are very low. Find other people. Like if you're not a creator, go find someone who can help create it for you. And then step into it. The cool thing right now is of the people that are having the conversations like you and I are having right now, it's a small supportive group. It's probably 150 people. Yeah. Like we could all get together, all 150 of us, and like do pottery, get tattoos, do yoga, talk about being in Zen Buddhism and non-attachment. And man, would we be just a delighted group of 150 people. And so there are people doing this. There's tons of people doing this. One of my favorite Canadians is a guy, Pat Veor. Okay. He lives in Costa Rica now. So he practices law from the beach in Costa Rica.
Amazing.
So anything's possible.
It's funny you say that. I literally just spoke with a woman last week, 2 weeks ago, who is a lawyer from Ottawa that moved to Costa Rica with her family. She's like, I'm getting out. And her husband practices law. She doesn't practice anymore, but he does. And he has his own virtual law firm.
We're probably talking about the same person. I told you the universe of the people doing this is very small.
But you're right. You're so right. I think it's a really supportive community. Like everyone who I've talked to, who I've had as a guest or a potential guest, like everyone is sweet and supportive and excited about it. And the people who have their own lawyer podcast, like we're all just jazzed for each other. I think that's real. Like it doesn't feel like there's any like competition at all, which I would not like at all. But everyone's really jazzed for each other and wants to help each other out.
Abundance.
Which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really great talking to you, Patrick. I have one last question for you. And it's a random question. If you could snap your fingers and be really, really good at one type of either art or creating something like woodworking or something like that, what would your dream be?
I can only pick one. This is tough. This is where the tough thing is because I love creating things. Yeah. I think if there was one thing that I could be really good at, it would be writing a novel.
Nice. Okay. Any particular genre?
So one of my favorite authors is Cormac McCarthy.
Okay.
One of my favorite books is The Road.
Okay.
I like post-apocalyptic. What happens when we have nothing left? Where's the hope in that? There's a lot of hope. So yeah, that's what I would write. I think there's a book. There's a book in my head somewhere. At some point, it's going to come out, but who knows when?
Don't wait for that snapping moment because it's never going to happen. You just got to start writing.
This is true.
Yep. Amen. Where can people go to find you, Patrick, if they want to connect with you or follow your story?
So LinkedIn is a good spot. The other place is newfangled.legal. That is the home of the Newfangled Lawyer and all the wild, crazy, fun things I do there. Also, you can find me at my law firm is alhlaw.com.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
It was fun.
All right, that was my talk with Patrick Patino, the Newfangled Lawyer. He is a great reminder that you can show up exactly as you are. You don't have to be buttoned up, stressed out, and some weird version of yourself that shouldn't exist, just to be a happy person and a good lawyer. So Patrick, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, drop a comment, and find us on Instagram and TikTok, and share this with someone who you think might benefit from my chat with Patrick. Until next time, bye. That was really lovely. I need a podcasting helmet.